Hey, everyone.
Hi.
I'm going to introduce you here. I want you all to meet someone very special to me as again, I'm starting to introduce myself to everybody here. My name is Camille Block, and I am a new author, although I've been writing for over 10 years, and it's about a book called Hope for Secondhand Suffering, Tools for the Heart When You Can't Fix Your Loved One's Pain. And the book has been such a process. And one of the things that I always knew as I was writing is that I want the cover to speak to people's hearts. And I want it to kind of embody all the emotions that went into the book and went into my love for my brother, who happens to be the lens through which I explore this topic. And the I'm going to introduce my friend here. Let me go ahead and do that, and I'll tell you a little bit the background. I'm going to turn it over to her for a few questions. But this is Allison Lewis, and Allison, say hello.
Hi.
Allison is an artist, and she is the cover artist for my book. And I feel like, in a way, it's our book because we've been working so closely together since last November. But the quick story that I'll share, and then I'll let her elaborate, is that last November, after I had bit the bullet and hired an editor to help me edit what has been a very big project for me, and we are coming towards the end of some of the edits, and I knew I needed a book cover, and I just wasn't sure. And I just started praying, and I'm like asking God, give me something fall from the sky, give me an idea or something, because there's so, like, I don't want to really interview graphic artists. That felt weird. I just needed it to be kind of something that was special. And one day something came to my head that I remembered someone I met. And we had kept loosely in touch. I'll let her tell a bit more about that. But that's where I connected again with Allison. So, Allison, why don't you tell me a little bit about how we got connected and how this relationship began?
Yeah, it was a God story for sure. It's so fun. We were at a conference together, I believe like 2 years ago, maybe. And I just felt like it was several days long. And I don't think I did this with anybody else. I felt like the Lord wanted me to go up and talk to you. I didn't know you at all. And I just felt drawn to you and your spirit and felt like I'm trying to remember, but I think just the Lord gave me a word about something about you being creative and just words that I felt like were from his heart. And I just felt connected to you. And then we kept running into each other throughout the whole weekend and connecting about our kids and just different things. And then you gave me a picture that you were kind of nervous about giving me. But ever since then, I still have it. And everything has meant something really special to me on that you gave me. So that was
Yeah.
just a sweet God weekend of meeting you. And then just, I think a couple times connecting through Facebook, just something you saw. I mean, I don't think I talked to you many times over
No.
Facebook or anything for 2 years. And then when you reached out in the fall, it was
Yeah.
totally God's timing.
It was
So
you were There's something special about you. I just remembered I was with my husband, and I kept literally bumping into you. It was very crowded. Like, we were like, oh, it's you again. We just kept running into each other. And I just remember thinking, that's weird. Like, this woman, you didn't have your family with you, you were there alone. And there was something unique and special about you. And I wasn't super intentional. I just think literally I just kept bumping into you. And so I didn't know what you said, that you thought there was something special about me. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, you were saying how sometimes God speaks to you through art, and you said, "Oh, I bet you have that too." I'm like, "No, no, no, I'm not creative." I'm like, "I don't do that." And you're like, "No, I think you do." And you
yes,
gave
you
me a piece
are.
of paper, gave me a piece of paper. You said, go off somewhere and do this, just ask God one time, like, give you a picture and see what you draw and give it to someone. I'll step in faith. And I thought, oh, that's strange. I don't think I could do that. I don't think anything like that in me. But, like, I'm so happy that you have that special gift. And you laughed and you go, just wait and you see. And so anyway, I think it was like halfway into this meeting, I was kind of off on my own, and I was just spending some time alone. And I remember going, okay, that girl said, just ask for a picture. I'm like, okay, God, give me a picture. I'll take out my paper. And I kind of, without a lot of faith, just sat there in a minute. And a few things came to my head, but one of them I remember was like, I saw in my head, it was really weird. Like I hadn't had many of this before. I saw in my head this picture of this like sideways cross. It was kind of like at an angle. It's really interesting. And I just wrote it down and I thought, well, that's weird. And I put it in my pocket. And then as we were leaving, like 2 days later, I ran into you and I said, oh, by the way, I did what your thing is, but I think it must be from you because I didn't think of anybody else. And it was very, casual. And you looked at it and you're like, you kind of got tears in your eyes and you're like, you don't know, but that's the view out my window of my art studio. I'm like, what? You're kidding me. And you're like, no, I'm not kidding. And then later, I'm such a skeptic. I'm like, can you send me that picture later when you're home? Like later, like I think it was like a year later. I just still was like doubting Thomas, I guess. And you sent it and I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. That is the same thing I do. So it was just a faith builder in me. And I don't know if that I think that came after we started connecting. So maybe 2 years later I asked you that. But yeah, so when we started connecting, I just knew you're supposed to be the artist. And then I asked you, I kind of surprised you on a Zoom call and you're like, well, I've never done a book cover. And I remember thinking like, well, I don't care. Like, I don't, that's not why I asked you. Like, I didn't want the professional book cover artist. That's not me. I wanted to find the hidden gem and you and definitely a step of faith because I didn't know what would happen. But anyway, I'll ask you then from there, when I asked you like what went through your head and what was your process of understanding about this book and how do you go about doing art for it?
Hmm. All I remember is it was just a week of God connections, coincidence connections. And I just remember hearing you share your heart. Like it was just yes as soon as you started talking. I mean, I didn't have to think about it. I just was feeling the Lord on the call and your heart and everything. I don't know. Just once sometimes I feel like I have to pray about it or I don't have peace for a while or on different commission jobs or things, I won't know for a while, or it will feel more like a business thing and ask the Lord to bless it. But I just like instantly knew he wanted to do something more than just do the
That's
book
cool.
cover. So that has been true. He's
Yeah.
blessed me a lot.
Well, you definitely said yes pretty quickly. I was like, wait, I haven't even told you. You're like,
I don't care what it means. And that was a step of faith because I have done some like CD covers or different things that have been kind of stressful and um did not know, kind of apprehensive about it, but I felt in my gut like he was gonna provide, he was gonna give the picture, he's gonna help me do it. Like it was so peaceful and fun and I could not wait to do
yeah.
it. And then you shared your heart of what you kind of wanted it to look like or like ideas, more of your heart, I think during worship, you said, I can share
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I
You want
just,
to share the story?
yeah, real quick. I mean, I just had I was at a different event. And at that time, I think I was in the process of really kind of pressing in to God and asking a lot of questions and kind of feeling like I was supposed to do this book project. Like it was definitely not something I was seeking out for my own reasons. I felt like it was something I was given to do. And so I went to this event. I don't even remember exactly the details, but they began with a lot of music and they had some worship music on. And I remember just closing my eyes and just like listening to the music. And I had been asking God, like, okay, you gave me an artist. Now give me like an idea. Like, what do I tell her? Like, what do I give direction? Do I just say whatever? I'm like, I'm a little controlling sometimes. So like, I kind of wanted a little bit of control. And so I'm like, God, give me like something, like a picture or color or something. And then during worship, this picture just popped in my head again. I'm like, another picture, how fun. And it was well, I'm not going to say what it was because I haven't announced the book yet. But it was a very specific picture. But it wasn't filled in. Like I didn't know the colors. I didn't really know much. I knew what colors I liked, but I ended up sharing that with Allison. And I definitely know my mother-in-law was an artist. I definitely know you don't want to tell an artist how to do stuff. Like you them to have their creative flow, and I really wanted to respect that. But there was something that I felt kind of God gave me for the cover, to kind of two central ingredients, and a little bit in the colors. So then take it from there, Allison, when you were busy during December. This is all like Christmas time, and what happened from there?
Well, honestly, I don't remember. It's just kind of a blur. I just remember more the conversations with you and reading the book and just of the manuscript that you gave me. And that was super powerful. And I just connected because of part of my family story. And it was just beautiful. And to create, I just put worship music on as well and just asked the Lord to do it. I mean, I had the images in my mind that you'd said and color suggestion, but felt free to do whatever he led, and it was just an awesome experience. So the very first one I did, and I think a couple more after that, just because we thought, well, maybe I should just try a couple more. But I
Yeah,
think the whole time we knew the first one was like
yeah,
there was something on it that I felt like the Lord was doing. So
yeah. It was really, it was, I mean, the word I use, I think sometimes it's just anointed. It definitely speaks. And since then I've showed a very few number of people, very close friends, and then my editor and publisher and people like that. And I will say that the feedback I get is like, like some people have started to cry. Um, Other people have just sat there and paused and they say, wow. Other people, I'd say there's 5 different images, 5 different people have told me they have seen. Like my husband said one thing, my son said another, my daughter, like everybody sees something a little bit different, which is kind of fun. And then another person said there's something living about it. And I just thought all of these are such beautiful compliments, and it is exactly what I wanted for the cover. A lot of people, I had one person say, "Oh, maybe you just need something really clean, and that's how you sell books." I'm like, I'm not like, if I sell books, I sell books. It's really about, this is something I'm birthing, and this is something I want to feel like this has got a God anointing on it. And so to me, anyway, your cover, first time it did it, and it's such a blessing. And then since then, just the interesting fun thing is that we started talking and have become really close friends, even though we've probably not seen each other since that first time we met. But she taught me a little thing called Marco Polo, and I only do it with Allison, and nobody like asked me because I can't take any more technology right now in my life. But Allison does a lot of driving, and so you introduced me that as a way, like sometimes we can just update people so on our stuff. So I just want to ask you, Allison, anything else you want to say on the book, what it meant to you? And then before we close, tell us a little bit about you and your business and what you do, because I think that alone is a whole nother topic, and I want people to know about that. So maybe to start with a little bit what the book meant to you when you actually did get through it is definitely meaty. um, and then we'll finish up with your business information.
Well, reading through it the first time, I think, like I said, I connected because of my nephew. Just, I mean, it's a long story, but a nephew that I have with special needs and traumatic birth experience from my brother and sister-in-law, and just that he's a miracle child, that he's alive, and all the miracles that we've seen in his life, but he still has a lot of struggles, and it's been a journey. So I think just relating through that, and without giving the book away, just things that you shared were helpful to me. And the whole time reading it, I just felt like it was a privilege to get to do art for the cover for it, because I really connected. I mean, I had no idea what the book was going to really, really be about when the Lord made me, know I was supposed to do the art for it. So it was a good thing. I loved the story and really connected to it, because it made it a heck of a lot easier to create, for something I can connect my heart to. And I mean, I just trusted you right off the bat. I knew it was gonna be for sure worth it, and the Lord was all over it, but I didn't know what it was going to be specifically about. So it was just a surprise blessing, I guess, of I can't wait to have this book for me to give out to people and my own family to be able to share. So that was yeah, am I going too long? What else would you
No,
like?
I was kind of just going to ask you just while you're saying that, like, who would be the ideal reader from your perspective for this book?
I mean, I honestly can't think of anyone that can connect in some way because everyone goes through suffering or a close friend with, I mean, from your perspective of a brother with a special need, but it's so much bigger than that. I mean, anyone going through heartache and pain and struggles or cancer or health issues or emotional issues, everyone has someone in their life that
Yeah.
we could learn to help or process or relate to with more compassion and love, or if we're going through it ourselves. So, I mean, that's just the human story, but definitely just people going through it with their own family or friends with a special needs, I think would be
Hmm.
ideal, maybe, but it can relate to anybody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. The more people I meet, the more people that say this is not about just special needs. It's about, then they'll name their situation and it's all over the map. I mean, there's so many. And that's my hope because not everybody has a sibling with special needs, although there's a lot that are out there, but there's so much more. And it's just that feeling of, when you have pain and suffering because you love deeply and how
mhm,
sometimes the sufferer isn't the only one who suffers. Often they're surrounded by people who love them, who also are suffering with them. And it's even harder when you can't like fix it. I'm a good fix it girl and I just couldn't do it. I'm still trying to fix a lot of stuff and I'm successful in some things, but you're never done. It's a lot of work. So sometimes when you can learn to rest and like figure out how to take care of your own heart, and still have joy and hope in the midst of suffering, especially when someone else you love, it's something I hope helps people. So, and I know your heart is to help people. And so, all right, well, tell me a little bit about your art business, because it's amazing and what you create, how long you've been doing it, and kind of where people can find you.
sure. So I do watercolor mixed media art right now and have a website called tealpatrickart.com and
Can you spell that? Spell it.
like the color teal, Teal, Patrick, Patrick, art. And yeah, just about 5 or 6 years ago, I think so I grew up doing art, went to art school, but just put it on hold for my family, just raising them when they were little. I just didn't do it for a long time. And then um, also was creating in a totally different headspace, I guess, and I knew the Lord growing up, but just 5 or 6 years ago, just started learning about creating with God, just in a different way, engaging my spirit um and soul in it rather than just the medium. And learning about doing it with God instead of for him.
Mm.
And that just changed everything. And I was at an art conference and had a word blessing just spoken over me from someone that I trust that hears from the Lord. And it was just about an art business and different ways of the Lord providing through art. And I don't know if that story sounds woo woo for people, but it's my experience and it was life changing. And I kind of just sat back and prayed about that, but tried to watch where God was leading. And it just, yeah, long story short, it just happened and started an art business a couple of years later. And the Lord is um, just kept opening doors and getting to create with him and have it be sharing him in the marketplace rather than just in the church building or
Yeah.
other places. So it's been an adventure and I
I
love
love
it.
it.
So
I love
thankful.
it. I think God's in the business of woo woo. I used to all
Mhm.
the time. It's like woo woo's kind of fun sometimes. So anyway, okay. Well, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. You've been a big part of this journey. Thank you for being that friend that I could share all the details with. And even after the book cover was done, I went to you for a whole lot, and you just gave me such sound wisdom on so many things. It was really fun collaborating with you on the art, though. You pulled out a side of me that I didn't know was in there. So that creative side. that I guess we all have, but we all have to figure out how to tap into it. So
Amen. Yeah,
yeah. All right. Thanks, Allison.
thank
We'll
you.
keep in touch. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.